Rob Gandara from Carbony Celtic Winds, a musical instrument company using carbon fiber technology. What was it about carbon fiber that brought you to it as a material?
Well, I knew it was very stable. I knew that carbon fiber was also indestructible. I did a brainstorming and evaluated and analyzed a bunch of different materials, and it comes out as 5 out of 5 in all the categories except cost. Where do you want your product to land?
Right.
And the nice thing about carbon fiber is it may cost a lot, but if you put the engineering into it and you build an instrument that the intonation is perfect with and the appearance is very pleasurable, there is a market actually there for very high-end instruments.
Do you find the festivals and fairs that you go to be a critical aspect of your sales?
Well,
or do you do it mostly through retail and or mail order?
Well, here's the rub is, I had worked initially on getting some good products and building a website.
Right.
And then you build a website and you have really good products and then you sit there and nothing happens.
Well, you got to get on the phone.
Well, or I don't know if the phones are right.
Yes,
I don't know if the phone's right. Yeah, you can pay for like Google Ads and you can, but these are musical instruments, so it's much easier to make a sale if someone contacts you and has an interest in it rather than you go to a music store and say, hey, you should sell these. It's much easier if a music store comes to you and says, hey, I heard good things about these, I want to carry these.
But how do you get to that point where people hear good things about you?
Yeah, that's where the music festivals come in.
So
since the highest quality bagpipes on the planet and the highest quality flutes are made out of, like an ebony or an African blackwood.
Right.
Also, ebony's very hard to get wood, African blackwood. And you get it in Tanzania depending on whether they're at war or not, so the prices fluctuate, and sometimes they'll use alternative woods. My goal in making these instruments, or the process that I'm using, since it's an engineered material, is to actually replicate the grain structure and the material density of African blackwood.
Oh, okay.
They're actually taking the instruments and putting them in music stores.
Okay, so they're
right.
So you probably have to give up a certain percentage of them.
Yeah. So my price structure has to be set up that they have an incentive to do it.
Right.
And that's a more traditional way to move musical instruments. You calculate the cost of all that compared to having to even though it feels like I'm giving up more going to a distributor who's going to give a retailer a break. If you do the math, yes, I'm losing a little bit, but not nearly as much as you'd think I would be otherwise.
Yeah.
So I look at the shows as marketing opportunities and marketing expense.
Do you have any major competitors for your? There
are other people in this world that make bagpipes, whistles, and flutes, and didgeridoos, of course. The one advantage I have over all these people is I design and mold my own bodies. I'm not buying carbon fiber off the shelf.
So
and I own all that intellectual property. And so once I have a shape that I've perfected, I can replicate that bore of that instrument exactly on every one.
Okay.
If I can't get companies interested in the technology, I'm going to have to make it and sell it myself.
Right.
And I wasn't really originally planning to travel all over the world selling these things. My original plan was just to make a website and have people buy it from me.
Right. Have them magically.
Just have build a website, they will come, and it just didn't. So the website was a priority when I started the business.
Yeah.
And then once you have one, I think you don't need to have a perfect one, but you need to have one. Since I've always been an amateur musician, it's always wanting to be able to share my music and my talent with as many people as possible. And you think of that as a musician as having a bigger crowd.
Yeah.
Or playing more shows or going on a tour. I think what transition is, I'm having an even bigger impact by building instruments that other people are going on tour with, or recording albums with. I don't want to drop too many names, but Doogie McLean's has one of my whistles, and I think he ended up buying one of my didgeridoos because he played one for a long time, and then someone told me it came. So one of his songs became the national song for Scottish independence. But you know, my favorite stories are, I've been doing this for 10 years now, and there's musicians that I was connecting with earlier when they were just beginning too, and to see those musicians doing big stuff, playing on bigger and bigger stages.
Yeah, so your instruments have helped them get to that point.
Right.
So that's got to be a good feeling.
Yeah, no, and it's so. I like to pride myself on making instruments that are very professional. But I was never able to get a good sound out of a flute until I started building one.
Oh.
And several people will try my flutes, love the way they sound, and I've made some refinements on them. They're currently based on an 1859 Pratt flute, so making historical instruments out of new materials is...
Yeah, that's actually kind of cool. You can really,
I can really replicate what they say was the best flute ever.
I just want to thank Rob Gandara from Carbony Celtic Winds for being my guest today on How We Fix the Economy. Thanks.
Oh, I didn't. Thank you. Left-handed shake.
That's fine.
We have a cat meowing.
That's okay. What's a CD?
Yeah, well, they still sell, believe it or not. They come with artwork. And